hard. It's definitely hard. And like, I'm still navigating, but I feel like what has really helped me with my 2 older ones is putting them in therapy.
Okay.
You know,
so you put your children.
yeah. You know, I
Awesome.
feel
Yeah.
like I was really scared. You know,
Yeah.
I was really scared. I'm like, oh my God, does this make me a bad person?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bad mom. But, you know, now that I've through it, I'm just like, you know, I'm so glad that I did because I think, you know, we are just such a product of our environment and the things like that we were literally brainwashed to think was okay. You know, I feel like from home people, it's like, don't accept help from the
Right,
doctors.
yeah,
Like,
yep.
like you don't need
Yep.
therapy. They don't believe in any of that. And I feel like that's why we're kind of fucked up adults now.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want my kids to be like that. And it's like, how do we, so I'm constantly thinking like, how do I break generational curses? And I feel like I have tried my absolute best with parenting my 2 older ones. You know, I wasn't always the best mom, but I was a good mom. And I feel like they've reached an age now too where I feel like I don't know what to do. I feel like I've reached my max as a parent, and I need outside help.
And how old are the 2 oldest?
The oldest is 11, and then the one after that, he's gonna be 9 soon. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm just like I needed to like accept outside help. Because, you know, I'm in therapy and my husband's in therapy. And I feel like when people hear that, they're like, oh, something's wrong with you. Like, you're faulty. Like, something's wrong. Like, you're messed up. And it's like, no, we all need someone to talk to and, like, understand, especially kids who, like, you know, of course, my kids, they're pretty open with me, but I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how to read, you know, like, I don't know how to approach certain topics, and like we need to talk about everything. I'm always like I need to talk to them about things before their dumb friends teach them.
Right.
Because you think about all the things that we learned. So anyways, yeah. So they're in therapy, and I feel like it has really helped me have better communication with them, and like it is like a group assignment. Like it's all for all of us, and so I feel like that has helped me try to. I'm still, you know, not a perfect mom. I still get frustrated all the time, but like there's definitely progress. And so yeah, then with my 2 younger ones, you know, they're toddlers.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard. You know, my daughter, she is like the work of 3 kids.
Yeah.
So I'm just like it's hard every day, and like I just try my best to you know, stay calm, and like also, you know, I work from home and I stay at home with my kids. So it's like trying to find balance in like, okay, I'm gonna work for a little bit and then hang out with them and whatever. But it's like at the end of the day, I'm beat.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like it's okay. That's something that I was willing to take on because I chose to do what I do.
Yeah.
And I chose to like, you know, not have someone else take care of them. So I would say like the best way that I have found to like distribute like my time and attention to everything that I do in my life is to do small increments.
Okay.
You know, because it's like I feel like everyone thinks that you have to like go all in, go hard or go home, and it's like no, we don't have to like fully be this way, but we can do small amounts. You know, so it's like, you know, with each kid, like I feel bad that I had so many kids because I'm like, you know, when I was young, I thought that I wanted a big family. And now that I do, I'm just like, I feel so guilty that I can't give you guys all the time that you need. But that's also why I have recruited outside help to help us so that we can all grow and flourish. So, you know, so it's like just doing things in small increments. And so, you know, with like doing social media and like, you know, photography, all those things, I do it in small increments. And then, you know, with being a wife, like I really encouraged my husband to play cornhole.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, this is something you're really good at.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like just trying to change the way we think of like how a household should be. Right. You know, it's like just because you know, you're out doing something you love doesn't mean that you're a bad partner. Right. It's because, you know, I think it's really important for us to have things that we do on our own that we love.
You got to stay true to who you still are, right?
And every like relationship, you need your own autonomy.
Yeah, you need
separately.
exactly. You gotta have your.
And it's like I
autonomy.
love my husband.
That's
Like
huge.
we're best friends and we want to do everything together. And I want to be with him all the time, but it's like we need something that makes us feel good. And you know, for me, I do so many things, and he's always very supportive. But it's like I feel like this is one thing that he's like really good at compared to all of his other hobbies in the past. Like this is something he's really good at, and he's very, very passionate about that I've seen that I feel like can do really well. So it's like just trying to be positive and honestly, at the end of the day, it's all just in our head,
Right.
you know, because he's in the army and he doesn't leave a lot anymore, but here and there he'll leave for like a month or two or like even a weekend. You know, he does leave a few times throughout the year, and now that he's playing cornhole, he's gonna leave and go play, and I want him to leave and go play.
Yeah.
So people are always like, "Oh my God, like, how do you do it? You know, like, how do you like manage all the kids in the house by yourself?" And I'm like, I don't
do.
know.
Yeah.
It's like it's just in your head. It's like just go with the flow. Like don't overthink it. So like I always tell everyone like don't think about it. Like don't stress about it. Like worry about it when it happens, or else you have to go through it twice.
Yeah.
So I'm just like for me, like I'm not gonna stress about something that's gonna happen like next month. Like when the day comes, I'll worry about it then, because I'm a worrier. I'm always gonna worry. I'll worry about it when the time comes. That's why I was like, I didn't really want to talk about this podcast. I'm like, I'll just when I'm there, I'll figure it out. And it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
No. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
we want
you know,
people to be
Peng
comfortable.
try to we really, I mean, I think Peng and I we have organic sense of being pretty curious too, you know, and so we really just let our guests speak, like we just want to natural curiosity of knowing who you are, what you do, and like our job here, we're just a medium of navigating the conversation as much as we can.
Yeah.
But
And I think when we talked about this too, we talked about we want to bring on people that we just genuinely want to talk to, and it's just an excuse to have a long form conversation with. It's like I've always like admired you and looked up to like how you like you as a parent and you on social media. So I was just like, oh, it's just an excuse to talk to her and just pick her brains a little bit. And so similar with Pa, where you had said that was like the longest
she's
you've ever had a conversation
She's my
with her,
wife's
but she's
cousin,
your
but I've
cousin.
never
Yeah.
actually talked with her for 2
Yeah.
hours straight in front of a table. But
I wanted to get back into the therapy because you
we
said
talk
you were in
about that a lot.
therapy. Your kids are in therapy. I'm just I'm pretty new to it. I'm probably like 2-3 months in now.
I've
you've
used
been
it.
to
Yeah,
therapy.
I've used it a bunch of times.
And so like, what made you decide, and what were like those? What made you decide to go into therapy, and then like, what were some of those factors that, I guess, pushed you away from it, or like held you back from like seeking out help for so long?
I think I was scared because you know to be vulnerable is a very scary thing. Now that I've been through it, I'm just like it's not that big of a deal. I'll open up to anyone who's willing to listen at this point. But you know, I feel like I was always really good at like bringing myself back down.
Yep.
Like when my emotions are up here. But of course, it took some traumatic events that I'm just like, okay, you know, I don't want to bring myself down anymore.
Yeah.
Like I need help. I need someone to help me. And I think being able to admit that you need help, you know, I think it's scary. But now that I've done it, I'm just like, I will shout it to the world. I need help. I'm a mess. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I think just not being afraid to like admit that you need help is key, you know? And it also, I think what also really, really helps is that my husband is also, you know, he's also in therapy too.
Yeah.
And, you know, he understands the importance of it. So, you know, he understands the whole psychology side of things. And I feel like, you know, having him do it and having him being supportive of it too, really made me like feel even better about it. So, you know, I feel like I put it off for a really long time because I'm like, okay. Like, I don't think I need help. but now that I've gone through, I'm like, oh my God, can everyone just go?
Yeah.
I
Like,
think that's the Hmong thing. The Hmong
It
thing is
is.
always,
For sure.
I don't need help. I'll figure it out. Even
Yeah.
though you see some of the OGs, they're like, have a terrible way. They're like, can't control their lives, right? And
Yes.
you're like, bro, you
Yeah.
need therapy.
Yeah.
And they're
Just
like,
talk
no,
to
why
someone.
would, yeah,
it is
why
crazy,
would I?
like that they won't listen to a
That's the
therapist,
monk-
but then they'll go to
Right,
like a
they'll listen-
shaman,
right,
or
or they
like
listen
go
to
to aging
another Hmong
clans or
OG who's
whatever.
got his life
Yeah.
twisted as well,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's
Oh,
like two
it's so
twisted guys
mind-blowing.
sharing it. Yeah.
Right.
That's what we need to do. Like we need to have our therapists just dress up like shamans and talk to them.
I mean, I
or
think with the
disguise
old
themselves.
generation, it's pretty much like, okay, that's what it is. But like
Yeah.
with our generation,
Yeah,
the
there's no reason
30s,
why
the
we
early
shouldn't.
40s, yeah, we have enough knowledge of by just sheer luck of growing up here to understand that, hey, just like the gym, just like nutrition, just like all
Yes.
those spiritual health, mental health, like those all have to be in balance. And mental health is a huge portion of it because in America, there's a lot of pressure in America, I feel like, of be successful, do well. Well, add American capitalist pressure with Hmong parent pressure.
Yeah.
You put those two in
exactly.
combination and you are like,
It's a lot, yeah.
there's a lot there going on. And it's all very deep subconscious, but we've always felt it and we never realize it till the day we almost break completely. And we're like, okay, yeah, I need to go talk to
Yeah.
somebody now because my parents' pressure is killing me and my own drive to be successful is killing me, and like the peer pressure of me feeling like I need to succeed within the Hmong community, like all of those little factors, your aunts and uncles, hey, are you going to school? Like always we get that so
Yeah.
much in the Hmong community, which is great. It makes us driven individuals, but it also hurts us.
Yeah.
It has hurt us, which is why I've gone to therapy. It's probably why
Yeah.
you've had your share of therapy, you know, so I'm glad we're talking about therapy.
Yeah,
We always
and
talk
then,
about
like,
it here.
You have your kids in therapy, which is
Yeah, that's
even
cool too.
like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
You know,
like,
like you know how we were so scared about
Yeah.
therapy, right? And it's like when you first went to therapy, like, did you want to tell people that you were in therapy? Like, it's just kind of scary because I
Yeah.
feel like you kind of don't want to talk about it yet because you're like, oh shit, like there's something wrong with me. I don't
Yeah,
want
they
people
think
to
you might be
something wrong with
crazy.
me.
Like, oh, you
It's
take
like I'm not
therapy? Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like my boys, they'll talk about therapy. They'll have
Yeah. That's
conversations
awesome.
like,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
and I just see them having like normal conversations. Like, oh yeah, because I'll write on the calendar and they'll be like, oh, my therapy's coming up. Oh, last time in therapy, like last week, I was
Yeah.
talking about this, and I'm just like, oh my god, like we were so fucked up. Like our
Yeah.
parents, like the culture of the community, they made us think that like there was something wrong with us if we
Yeah.
wanted to like ask
Go see
for
a doctor.
help.
Go see the old white guy for assistance when you
Yeah.
could just have your uncle tell you, like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
wrong. I need that old white
Yeah.
dude or that
Yes.
old Hmong lady therapist.
Yeah.
I need her, not Uncle B over here.
Yeah,
on the
Yes.
weekends.
Well, like just being like an adult and meeting like a lot of other people from different backgrounds is you realize like there are so many people that grew up with therapy, and then like it's almost like a cheat code. You can almost tell who
Yes.
had it and who did
Yes.
it. Like there's people
Yeah.
that just got things like figured out,
Yeah.
and when you start talking to them, you realize they've been doing this since they were kids.
Yes,
and
a
they've
cheat
been-
code. That is
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I love that you're just taking your kids to it because to them it's just they're just growing up, right? They're just
Yeah,
kids
just
growing
like a
up.
regular thing.
But because you've introduced that portion of mental health into their life at an early stage, whether or not they choose to follow that, they'll always respect that it's not a foreign concept,
Yeah,
you know?
they're not
Yes.
gonna grow up with this
It's not-
stigma.
Yes.
that
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not a
bad
foreign
thing.
concept.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just something that we've done, and it's like no different than when I went and got my blood work or when I get my blood pressure
Exactly.
checked. I
It's
also
like we
got my
go-
mental health checked, which is
Yeah.
more important than anything because your
Yeah.
mental health usually leads to everything how you feel about yourself, your
Yes.
self confidence. So,
It's
yeah,
like we
that's
go
great.
in for physicals every year. Like,
Yeah.
why not
Check our mental,
check
yeah.
up once a year? You know.
Yeah.
Like I had to break up with my therapist though, so like I am in the process.
Yeah.
But it's like I think people need to understand that too. Is like going to a therapist. Like all my friends have said that it's like dating.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like you have to find the one that fits you,
Right,
and it's like,
yeah.
but you have to know when to leave too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was really hard for me because I'm like, I don't want to reopen
from
wounds.
scratch, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to reopen wounds. I don't want to like touch on these topics again. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. It's scary. And so like I feel like I have been putting off finding a new therapist because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's so hard. And it's like, I don't know. It's like I go back and forth between getting like a Hmong therapist who like gets it, but also like I'm just like I want someone who 100% won't know me because I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't
small
want anyone that
community.
yeah I'm just like I don't want someone that doesn't know me, doesn't know my parents, doesn't know my family, anything
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's a constant going back and forth, but and also I think what's also important for going to therapy is the people around you also have to understand.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if your family is also toxic and they don't believe in it,
Yeah.
like you're gonna feel really shameful when you go to
Yeah.
therapy. But you know, like, I mean, I don't care about the opinions of my family, and they'll just they don't really care about anything. But it's like my friends, my friends,
Yeah.
they've all been to therapy. I was the last one to go to therapy, so it's like I feel like all of them have done it and like speak very highly of it has also
Yeah.
like just contributed to like me not being scared.
Yeah.
And so it's like you really have to be careful who you surround yourself with.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's really important in all aspects of your life. But like everyone around me, I feel like every time I have a makeup client, I always bring up therapy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like, hey, with the makeup session, you also get a free therapy session.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like
yeah.
I analyze everyone. Like it's one of my toxic traits, and like I really tried not to, but I've never been wrong once. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I always talk to everyone. I'm just like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, if you're a mom and you have your own career, you have kids and you're a wife, I know you need to go to therapy. I
Right,
know,
right, right,
I
right,
know
right,
already.
yeah.
Like
I
that
know.
is a
I know the
recipe
feeling,
for
yeah.
disaster right there. So it's like, I know you need to go to therapy. And it's like, they're always scared. It's always like, oh, I think I've always been okay. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I thought I was too.
Yeah. And it's always the most messed up.
But we've
people that
also
say
we've
that.
also we've also
Yes.
said that even like when we've had our conversations about mental health, we've talked about as well as like even when you do feel okay, it's kind of where I'm at right now. I haven't gone for like 2-3 years. Ever since I left firefighting, I don't see all the gory stuff. I don't see none of the crazy stuff anymore. So my mental health has kind of gotten calmer and just, I mean, stressful from the business, but I'm not seeing traumatic things in life
Right.
anymore. But even so, we've talked about in the past that even if you're doing well, you feel like you're doing well, like it's like a checkup. You should still
Yeah.
go get. You still
Yeah.
should go still talk to the
Just
therapist
have a
just to see where you're at.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to see where you're at in your head.
It's just like physical health, right? Where we talked about in the past, like just because you're in shape doesn't mean you stop working out,
Yeah.
right? Or it doesn't mean you stop being active. So, yeah, I think that's so cool. Like I think it's one thing to talk about ourselves as adults, like going into therapy, but then to have your kids going into therapy, like
Yeah,
that's so
that's-
next level. Like that hasn't even crossed my mind yet.
Yeah.
And of course, my kids aren't old enough.
I mean,
yet.
even my Alistair, like I put him in speech therapy, and I remember when I was gonna put him in speech therapy, I needed my mother-in-law to babysit my daughter, and like I was so scared to tell her because I'm just like, even speech therapy, right? It's like any kind of therapy, but even speech therapy, I'm just like, ugh, I didn't want to tell her because then she was gonna be like, oh, he doesn't need it, he's just a baby.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
any
The common
any
thing to
kind of
say.
therapy, they're just like, you don't need it, and I'm like, okay, even if he doesn't need it, like if I have access to this, why would I
Right.
deprive my
They're
child
Right,
of this?
right.
And it has helped tremendously.
Yeah.
Because all of my kids, they have a baby talk. They talk like a baby, and like it was really hard for them to understand. And like I saw the toll that it took on one of my sons, and I'm just like, okay, how can I prevent this from
Right.
continuing on? So I'm like, okay, speech therapy, and yeah, it's like I feel like even that, it's like we're so scared to like accept any kind of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you hear the word therapy, you just automatically think something's wrong, and it's like there was nothing wrong. I just wanted to help him learn how to speak better.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it's like it was a learning lesson for me too, because I'm like I never realized like I was the problem. I was the reason why, because I
Yeah,
kept baby
yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
And it's like it
Yeah,
helps
yeah,
you
yeah.
realize. I feel like therapy for my kids have helped me learn how to be a better mom. Because I'm also there too. Sometimes I'm there for like my sons, like when they talk to their therapist. But it's like for speech therapy, I was there, and like they taught me how I can help at home. And I think, yeah, like therapy has helped in so many ways.
Wow, I'm like taking all that in right now. Like I just like had an epiphany
No,
as
it's
you're
good.
saying
It's like
that.
you just never
Yeah.
think of it, right?
Yeah.
I think we haven't had of all the guests that we've had here. Have we had well, you're definitely unique. Because, I mean, unique in the sense that you have a business that's kind of like you're your own business owner. You're doing multiple things. You have a few kids. All those things in combination, being among women, because Pa doesn't have kids, and I don't think we had another Hmong woman, have we? Oh,
No,
we've had.
no, I think you're our
we have.
second. Yeah.
So you bring a different angle, is all I'm saying. You bring a different angle, and you speaking about therapy is. We don't know who listens to this. It might be nobody. We always say this. It could be
Yeah.
nobody. It could be. but we are just want to, like, if someday one person that cannot relate to me or relate to him, maybe they relate to you and they can see like, okay, yeah, a person who seems very successful and is successful also has all these struggles. And that's why we, like, the very first original reason we started this podcast was to talk about stuff like this, where like you can seem strong on the outside, but it's okay to talk about the stuff that is your
Yeah.
weaknesses and and like what doesn't make you as strong. Doesn't mean that you're not a strong person, but if you don't talk, it doesn't mean you're a strong person, but you're a human being.
Yes.
You're a human being going through a human experience, suffering like a human naturally does.